In a world riddled by literally millions of games and ever rising game prices, quality gaming on a budget can seem almost impossible. Welcome to the Nexus Roundtable, where we show that not only can you game on a budget, but you can enjoy quality gaming. Today, we're reviewing Paradise Killer. Stay tuned as Karsa, Nav, and Bullhead analyze Paradise Killer based on these 5 criteria: art and graphics, game controls, gameplay, ingenuity, and an overall rating. When they're done, they'll let you know whether they consider it a stud or a dud. But before we get to the review, we'll do some introductions, talk about streaming updates, and I'll let you know what's what in the world of gaming news. Carson, you want to start things off?
Uh, sure. I am Karsa. Karsa KKWX. Karsa is my name, and KKWX is my empire. I am the Empress from Alpha Centauri. In actuality, I stream basically sci-fi types games, Minecraft, and I do also Pathfinder, Starfinder, tabletop games, things like that. You will see me on Monday at 10 a.m., Wednesday at 1 p.m., Friday at 10 a.m. now because I just changed it, and Sunday is when we do our community Minecraft, and it is at 10 a.m. That is Central Time. So,
Bullhead?
Hello everyone, my name is Bullhead, and I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. Been going at it for many years now. Soon going to be almost, 10 years I'm going to be on the site. So hopefully I'll have some more fun times. I don't really play specific games, but I am into RPGs, FPS games, and I also like to try things that are a little bit out of my boundaries. So that's why I'm here as well, to try out new and different games with everybody.
Nav, you want to let everybody know who you are, seeing as you're the newbie?
Yeah. Well, I'm Navarone, occasionally you with the face. Like Billhead, variety streamer, been around for a fair while, although I did take like a 4-year hiatus or so. Mainly variety, but of recent has been stuff like Minecraft, Elden Ring, whatever's popular, whatever's hip with the kids. I'm also the only one outside the US. So when I say I stream at 8, that's not 8. That's actually like 2 o'clock in the afternoon for you
like
guys.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah.
But
Okay.
also of late, my schedule has basically been much about the same as Karsa's, due to various multi-streams and the community Minecraft stuff and that.
Yes, we've been doing a lot of multi-streams, so it's been working out, I think.
It has been.
We found out recently we can do 4 at once, too.
Possibly even 5, although it may decide to crash.
Yes.
Or just generally not work.
I am Bales. I stream Monday through Friday, starting at 8 or 10, somewhere between 8 and 10 a.m. Central Standard Time to 3 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. I also do the Community Day on Sunday with Karsa and Nav. We do Minecraft. Anybody wishes to come join us, please show up on our streams. We'd love to have you. Is events-wise, I think in all of our streams, I know at least Karsa's doing the upcoming birthday stream,
Yes,
where
I
we will
am.
be doing a speedrun category on Stardew Valley, and we'll be giving away a copy of My Time at Sandrock, which will be coming out to early access next month. So if you wish to participate, please show up on our streams to find out more information, and we'll tell you not only what the speedrun is, but who the speedrun is. So you'll just have to show up to stream to find that out. Anybody else have anything stream related they want to announce that's coming up?
Well, you just told
Oh.
mine.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's
No,
okay.
yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine. That
I
is
just wanted to
on
make
May
sure I didn't miss
19th.
anything.
That is May 19th, by the way.
Oh, I also have the face reveal stream going up. I have finally gotten contact with makeup artists, and we're working towards getting a date set for that. So
Oh, you don't have a date. Okay.
hopefully by the next NRT, I will have a date for everybody.
Excellent.
Unless anybody has some other news, we can get started in on gaming news.
Trying to rack my brain.
Well, we just did
No.
Factorial today as a multi-street. That was fun.
No, I think my next big thing is probably in December. So we still got a long while before that announcement.
Oh, just a couple months,
Plenty of time.
Birthday in June, if anyone cares, and then the December thing is gonna be my 10-year anniversary on Twitch.
That's amazing.
From when my account was created till now.
Wow.
10.
Yeah, I didn't even know Twitch was a thing 10 years ago.
Oh, it was more than 10 years ago. Some accounts are even older than mine. Before they made the switch from Justin TV to this.
I was going to say that there. Were you back in the old Justin TV days?
I've watched some stuff, but I didn't really stream till like 2012, which I regret. I wanted to do it like even earlier, but oh well.
Okay. Neb, do you have any announcements to make?
Nope.
Alrighty. First off, we have a new game that released yesterday called Dwarf Romantic. It kind of has a hand-painted look, and it seems to be like a strategy-type game where it gives you one hexagon at a time to place down on the map next to another piece. And your objective is to build up the world. So it does look kind of like a neat idea, neat concept. We'll see as people start playing it how it's received. Metacritic's great and all, but I'd rather find out how the people who play it respond to it. Disney has announced something called Disney Dreamlight Valley, I think it's called. I could be wrong about the name. But it basically feels like Disney meets Stardew Valley. Which it seems like a great opportunity. Like, I loved Kingdom Hearts for bringing in the Disney, and so this could be just as cool. My only concern is that they're releasing it as free to play. And anytime something's free to play, I get a little nervous. If they're going to make their money off of cosmetics, I'm totally fine with that. If they want to make their money off of selling you furniture you can put inside your home to make it look pretty, totally fine with that. When you start to sell things that give you a huge advantage in the game, especially if there turns out to be like some kind of multiplayer involved with it, I start to get a little hesitant. Not a huge fan of pay to win, but definitely you can make it work as a game if you do free to play with cosmetics, I think.
Right. I agree with that.
I mean, League of Legends is just proof of that. Like, how successful is that game, and they don't sell anything that gives you an advantage. Just skins.
As long as you stick with cosmetics, I think it works out. But when you start getting into like the more scummier things that give you like a little advantage over other players, like that happens in gacha games a lot.
Yeah, it gets to the point where you just don't want to play unless you have the ultimate thing. And of course, if you have the ultimate thing, the other people don't want to play.
I wouldn't mention any names like EA if I was going to talk about this. That would be silly. Also, we're looking at a game called Wildflowers that's going to be coming out soon.
I have applied.
Both Karsa and I have applied for keys. We're both hoping to get keys, but
We'll see.
it's a hope. We'll see. Exactly. We would love to play this on stream and show it to you guys before it's released. But the basic premise is that your grandma asks for help on the farm. And so you go to visit her, and what you end up doing is farming and talking with the villagers by day, and you're a witch at night. And so if we don't get early access to this, we probably won't be able to play it until summer or fall when it comes out.
Right.
So
But if it
hopefully we'll have
does, we'll be
updates.
excited and we'll be happy to
Absolutely.
show it off to you guys.
I did notice during the preview of that game that they were one of the characters was given the pronouns they them, so at least the developers are trying to be inclusive in that sense of being aware of LGBT members of their community. So I did like to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue Legacy 2. Let me check the date. Is it the 28th today or the 29th?
29th.
Okay, so Rogue Legacy 2 came out yesterday. It is a platform roguelike. I really enjoyed Rogue Legacy. Admittedly, I was horrible at it, but that didn't stop me from enjoying it. Basically, you make a run, and then you go back through, and you have to like pick that hero's son or daughter to do the next run, and you're given like 3 choices, and all of them have boons and banes. So, like I've played in colorblind mode where like your character's colorblind, so the entire map is black and white. And it's very interesting the way they do things. May 13th, we have Evil Dead the video game coming out. It looks very much like Dead by Daylight, if I'm going to be honest with you. However, Bruce Campbell is pushing the game pretty seriously. He's been doing tours and making videos, and that's not really surprising considering he plays Ash, but anytime Bruce Campbell says something, it's got my attention. Like, I started out with Evil Dead, and then I watched all the Burn Notice because he was in it, and what can I say? The guy's got a personality. It is going to have multiplayer, and you can either play as Ash with your friends to try to beat the creatures trying to kill you, or you can play as the monster trying to kill Ash and his friends. So it is kind of nice to have a game where you can play as the bad guy. What else do we have here? On May 10th, we're getting the 4th entry in the We Were Here series, and it's called We Were Here Forever. That's an adventure co-op game, and from what I see from the previews, it looks like a pretty good game. Like, the voice acting sounds good, and the mechanics look good, so we'll see how that pans out coming up in May. And then I think I only have one more game. This one is called Brigandine, The Legend of Runertia, and I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. It looks like a resource management game combined with like Fire Emblem. The tactical battle map has like a hexagonal shape to it, like you move your players across that instead of like the squares from Fire Emblem. But you also have the opportunity to train your troops and send them on missions, and that'll be coming out May 11th. So, as somebody who's majorly into the Fire Emblem series, I'll be keeping a close eye on that in hopes that it's something I might pick up. Does anybody have any other gaming news they might want to mention?
Well, Icarus has yet another update, and the update is for rustic furniture. And that's a game that I play a lot of. Also, Space Engineers has just put out an update, and I actually need to find more information about that. But it is a big update, and it's for more, I believe, more boxes, more stuff. Let me look it up.
Have her bullhead, you got something while she's looking it up?
Yep.
What came out that I was like, ooh? House of the Dead remake came out.
Was that the shooter? Where like it's like an arcade shooter?
Yeah. It was,
I remember very funny lines. If I'm thinking of the same one, is that?
Oh yeah, it was that one. It had it's pretty cringy. It was like the if you guys ever played like the original Resident Evil 1, it's kind of cringy, like that type of dialogue that they had. But it was like, it's memorable and enjoyable, so.
I believe it was intentional, just based on the conversations. Like they were supposed to sound intentionally bad.
Probably. I don't remember. Like I used to know it, but then like I stopped. Like, it was out on the Dreamcast, I believe, and they
I think
also
I
made
played
another
it.
game,
I may
Typing
have
of the
played it on
Dead.
Xbox.
Might have been out on Xbox,
It
but
may
I
have
played
been
it a lot
part
at
of
the
Game Pass at one point.
Yeah,
maybe.
House of the Dead was sort of intentional. Resident Evil wasn't.
Why not? I'm just saying it was cringy. Like that's the type of
Yeah.
like lines they were
Yeah,
going for.
that's what happens when your voice director does not speak English and has no interest in what you're saying, but how you're saying it.
Yeah, they just hired people. They just hired Americans, and then they were like, speak.
Okay.
That's Resident Evil. So, but House of the Dead remake came out. I think let me go on Steam real quick.
I was definitely considering that one. It's a,
Oh yeah,
it's a
it came out
possible
yesterday.
purchase. It was a lot of fun. So
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on Steam.
As for the update, it is a war pack update in which they're adding war and warlike things happening in as a DLC, the Warfare 1 Field Engineer DLC pack. So, that is going to be something big that's we will be looking at on Wednesday on my screen. On my stream, so there you go.
Yeah, and as for me, like the only thing I noticed of any real interest, even tangentially related to gaming, is that bankruptcy thing from Artesia. After they royally screwed themselves by being massively unkind to a number of small streamers, and that really backfired for them.
Oh my. Alright, so
all right. Well, I guess that
that
leaves me with the latest update of NRT.
yes. The big
So we have, unless you want to explain it, I mean, I'm more
no,
than willing to.
please do.
Okay, so we're switching up the format once again. Obviously, we've added in Nav, and he's a great welcome addition to our happy little crew. And so what this means is that going forward, we're going to have 3 people reviewing the game. And the person who chose the game last time takes the next week off. And by taking the week off, we mean they do gaming news. So I picked Final Fantasy X for our last one. Therefore, I do the gaming news this time. And after this, I will be leaving the set, if you will. And then Carson, Nav, and Bullhead will take over to do the review. And so next week, Nav will take the week off because he picked Paradise Killer, and he'll do the gaming news. So we hope that this will give us some variety in gaming news, because I tend to be a little biased towards the genres that I like. So that's what we're looking forward to. Does anybody have anything else they want to add before we switch over to doing the game review? Ooh, the silence is deafening.
Well, I'm glad that we do
Trying to
have
think.
Nav with us. It is going to make things interesting, and if there's anyone sick, we can always have a stand-in, so it does help.
Yep, this is the start of the downfall arc.
This is what?
It was all me. It was all me.
Well, you did say that you were looking at doing something like this, and then I said, but we are already doing it. You want to join?
Well,
and that's what happened.
As I go to exit stage left, I will be finishing up my run to prove that the speed run category that I've picked is possible within the 6-hour time limit. So that's what my goal is today, is to finish up that run. So I bid you all a fair evening, and I look forward to our next NRT.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Good luck with the rest of the run.
Yes, good
Thanks,
luck.
guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right. Welcome to the review part of the podcast, where we are talking about Paradise Killer. And in Paradise Killer, we were basically acting like detectives called Lady Love Dies, and she was working as a syndicate lead investigator who was deceived by the damn Harmony uh, ended up being exiled and then brought back when the Council of Paradise died. Navarone has chose this to be his game for us to try out, and we did try it out over the last 2 weeks. Navarone, why did you choose this?
I chose it because I historically detest visual novels. I don't find them fun. And yet that was a game that presents itself as a visual novel with detective gameplay, which I actually found incredibly fun. And it's an interesting world. I also love the aesthetic, the synthwave vibe that it gives off. The amount of VHS glitch effects I have on my stream kind of gives an idea. But yeah, like everything about the visuals in the game I enjoy. Plus, somehow on playing the game for about half an hour, I actually like the characters. Quite often, because so many visual novel games, you tend to be a school kid, trying to figure out which girl they're going to fall in love with or whatever. I just think, why do I care? But yet, this game, by framing you as the ex-head of the Paradise City Psycho Unit, which, as far as I'm aware, is effectively the major investigation type thing, before the Damned Harmony incident. Yeah, it's actually saying it there. Because it frames you as a lead investigator investigating a murder rather than slice of life at a school, it was just vastly more interesting to me. Plus, I knew you like that sort of game in terms of story focus, so I thought you would definitely get a kick out of it.
I did. I actually did get a kick out of it, so it was kind of fun. All right.
That's exactly why I suggested it.
So that is why we chose Paradise Killer. Let's begin with the first segment, which is art and graphics.
Well, I kind of spoiler alerted that.
Yeah. Alright, so with arts and graphics, Bullhead, what did you think of this game?
I didn't have as much time as everyone else, sadly. So, what I did enjoy, like, first of all, I feel the same way with like visual novels. It's like I'm kind of sick of the same like school, this, that. It's kind of getting like, it gets kind of annoying after a while, and sometimes it's just predictable. So, like for the characters I met in the game, like I enjoyed the way practically each character looked, right? I had trouble like recording the game with like the nice graphics, so I had everything on low. But like from what I saw, like it still looked like a pretty good game, and so like I enjoyed it so far. I'm actually gonna go back and try and play some more because they like to let you collect things, and I'm kind of like oh, I gotta go find everything now. So
there is a lot there.
Yeah,
there's some interesting things. I'm not gonna spoil, but Navarone and I both ended up at the end and with different things. So it's huge. It's a huge setup.
As you can see from the clip, though, like the graphics look really nice. My gameplay is pretty much the same thing, but you'll see the way I saw it, which is a little bit downgraded. But yeah, I actually enjoyed it. It was a nice little. It was a change of pace. It was actually very colorful, which I enjoyed because lots of things lately have been kind of
drab.
That dark tone to it all the time, and it's just like having some color and is like just such a nice change of pace. So I thought it was lovely.
All right. Well, I thought it was good too. However, I know Navarone is gonna go. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
La la
But
la la la.
hey,
Fingers and ears.
this reminded me a lot of Second Life and how I built, and I did build different games for my Sims, and this was kind of how I built them. I would be using like follower scripts or things like this, and it was a lot like that. However, I will say, for the game itself, it still is pretty fun, and I would say the arts definitely. I can feel where I'm at. You know what I mean? Even if they're cutouts, you still get you dig your claws in there and you really get into it. So for the arts and
Yeah, I mean,
graphics, it does
even
remind
though
me though of
we,
Second Life.
yeah, even though we had the joke of you saying that and me shouting la la la, I'm not listening. I do fully get where you see that from. Although of course my experience was less. This looks like something out of Second Life, and more. I've been to several Second Life sales sims, like the sci-fi sales and the cyberpunk sales, and they almost all ape this style. And I actually associate this more with the sort of mid to late 80s vaporwave,
Yeah.
which is what they were clearly going for. All of the Greek statues, the skulls, the rampant use of blue and pink everywhere, and swimming pools all over the place. It's dripping with that vaporwave thing. Like, you type that into Google and you will find tons of album art everywhere.
All right. In terms of arts and graphics, Bullhead, would you give it a star?
Oh yeah, I would. I was thoroughly pleased.
All right. We have one
I never
star.
played something like this before, so I thought it was kind of interesting.
It was different from what we normally play, and I do love stories. Far as it being of the arts and graphics, like I said, I feel like I could have made it myself. But yes, it does have that 80s vibe to it, and if they're going for the 80s vibe, I would give it a star because they just did that. What about you, Nav?
Well, yeah, I would give it a glowing star in the visuals category, because as I said earlier, I absolutely adore the visual style, and I agree they nailed that aesthetic.
If that is what they're going for, then they definitely nailed it.
Oh yeah.
All right. Moving on to the next one, which is controls. All right, gaming controls. Bullhead, how did you feel the gaming controls worked?
Basic, nothing special really. I tried the controller, but I can't do first-person shooters with controllers just because like when I play games with a controller, my inputs are inverted. So my up is down, my down is up, and my left is right, my right is left, and that doesn't translate to first-person games that well. So I used the keyboard and mouse for this one. And yeah, I mean, it was basic. I mean, nothing special. I wasn't blown away. It was like it worked, and did what you had to do to get you through the game.
Okay. How about you, Nav? How are the controls on this?
Pretty much the same. The controls functioned as intended. There was nothing untoward with them. The one thing I would posit is that the movement abilities you get do end up feeling a little bit strange at times, especially when you have the boost, the air dash movement, because it kind of freezes you in place, fires you forward a set distance in the direction you're looking, and then reapplies your momentum, which felt kind of weird. But once you get used to it, you won't actually see it in my video, but my second stream where I finished up the game featured a lot of double jump air dashing between buildings and skipping locked doors because I could easily hop the fence by about 30 feet.
Okay.
I mean, I would also say if you don't have your right stick inverted, it controls fine on a controller, because I'm playing it with a controller in that footage,
No,
as you can probably tell.
this is your media right now, just so you know. I am about ready to switch it over to Bullhead's media to see what he has. I would say for the controls, for me, I think you know the answer, but I have a lot of health issues, and if there's any type of platforming, it becomes rough. However, because of this game being the way it was, it actually was not that bad. I really liked it when they added things, but that's in the gameplay. For the controls, I thought it was okay, but I thought there was nothing special to it. It was just exact, is what it was. So, in terms of controls, would you give it a star or no? Navarone.
Oh, as I did, it was functional. Yeah, I would say it was fine. For me, on a controller.
Okay. Bullhead.
Yeah, I have no problems with them. Simple. You're to the point. You're not gonna get confused. So.
Alright, I will go ahead and give that a star as well. Moving on to the next bit. Gameplay. Right. And I'm gonna switch people's. I'm gonna go on to now Bullheads.
Yeah, you'll see the exact same thing, but worse quality.
Worst quality. Well,
Mine was chugging along for some reason.
that's with the control part.
Yeah, it was weird that they put an actual controller up there.
Yeah.
Because I thought you had to play with a controller.
I believe the game was made for the consoles first.
It
Yeah,
was.
I
Or
think it was on the
PC.
Switch.
I'm
I
sure
think.
it was. I mean, it makes sense that it would be as simple as it was, and it kind of made it was as simple as it could be, I think, as far as the
Yeah,
controls.
and they still worked. Like, it wasn't like it was horrible, but
No.
they were basic. You don't have to be extravagant when you're doing a control scheme for a video game.
Mhm.
So as long as it's simple and it works, nothing really to complain about. It's a good job, you know.
Right. I agree. Okay. So now we are on gameplay. And far as the gameplay goes, let's see here. I am going to go ahead and say, thank goodness most of the platforming that we needed for the main part of the story, not the side quests. The main part of the story was closer to the ground. You didn't have to do so much platforming. But if you wanted to do any side quest stuff, you had to go platform. And that's where I had a problem. Medical issues aside, or not aside, that is probably the one thing I don't like about platforms is, being able to try to move just right and always falling. But I do like the fact that they put in those 3 baths, and the 3 baths gave you extra abilities. And because of that, I was able to finish the game. So, far as what you needed to do, it did exactly that. Anyway, that is how I felt about that. How did you feel about it, Bullhead?
Like I said before, because of my back problems, I didn't get as far as you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I finished getting to, like, I finished dropping down, and then I got out of the council, and I was gonna go, like, start talking to people, and then you meet the demon guy, and then I was just running around, and like when you run around, you can kind of hear like the static-ish of like an item near you, and then I ended up missing a jump and falling all the way down, and then I got sidetracked when I met the demon again, and he says I put these blood crystals all around the area for you to like find, and I was like, oh no, and I started running around trying to find those, but I did like speak to some people or like get some items to like give to like the NPCs and stuff, and I thought that was cool. I don't know about the special abilities you get later on, because I sadly I couldn't get that far, but it was like you said, it was a double jump and a dash, right?
Yeah.
I didn't sadly get to that.
There were also ways of making things show up that for a short time on the map, even if yeah.
I think there was puzzles too, because like one item would ask for like a blue thing, and then I found it and I put it in and I get a blood crystal. So like I enjoyed those aspects. The dialogue was good. They gave you some options, which was nice. So you had like kind of answer the way you kind of felt like. Yeah, like I enjoyed the gameplay. Like sadly I didn't get too far, but that's just because due to personal things. But I would still give it a good recommendation for that.
Okay, and what about you, Nav? What did you think of it?
My only major issue with anything in the game is they really could have signposted things that were going to use the picture-in-picture effects, because midstream it's not fun when you finish a puzzle and it brings up a camera and it causes OBS to crash.
Yes.
That's really not fun.
That happened to me a couple of times.
Yeah. I think you were mentioning you were actually watching me on Discord at the time, and you had the exact same encoding error at the same point I did.
There were 2 major coding errors where I had to restart the game. And it mainly dealt with their camera.
Yeah, and I will also make the point that I'm not talking about the actual first-person camera. I'm talking about when it uses a picture-in-picture secondary camera that slides in at the top of the screen.
Right.
The frame rate just utterly tanked. Like it went from running absolutely fine to running like a jet ski on gravel.
It crashed. Is basically what it did. So anytime we looked inside
the game actually remained running. It just dropped to like 3 frames a second, which was somewhat jarring until the effect went away.
The effect didn't go away for me. I had to restart the computer because of that particular setup. I did not like that at all, and I will give that a negative.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, now it could be due to the semi-remastering type thing that they've done with the later updates, because they added in RTX support for ray tracing, which for the reflections is nice in some areas, but because they're not actually doing RTX shadows or lighting itself, it's kind of pointless, in my opinion. I don't think you actually gain anything by having ray trace reflections on. As for the actual like minute-to-minute gameplay, the movements fine. You know, they do actually have and I tried to tell you a couple times, but you seem to be spacing out on how to get to things. There's actually an accessibility option which allows you, when crouched, to not fall off a ledge.
I couldn't figure that out. I did
yeah.
try it. I don't know why it didn't
Um,
work out for me.
It's actually something I would bring up, as the accessibility options in the game are actually quite good.
Yeah. I mean, I
Because
will
like
have to say
usually
that
it's just like text size or color, but this one like actually my footage actually uses the Open Dyslexic text font, and then you've also got options for different types of color blindness, for instance.
that's in the controls, but yeah, we should have brought that up anyway.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that briefly, but like having those functions there in a very text-heavy game, because I mean, like what you're seeing here is essentially 90% of the game, and because everything's given to you in those small chunks, rather than the standard visual novel thing of here's a scene where you meet the feisty girl who is actually secretly a tsundere and is going to swear at you all the time. Settle back for 10 hours of cringy dialogue, whereas this says, right, we're going to talk to somebody and they're going to call you offensive things in Romanian, but you only have to speak to them for the next 2 minutes and then you can leave.
Yeah.
Like,
Instead of having a wall of text, you end up having just a few sentences or two, but you still felt either upset with them or angry or...
Yeah, they managed to bring it through very well. Like, the characterization is done incredibly good and very to the point. There's very little like wasted dialogue, really, I felt. Which in a dialogue heavy game like this is really good and welcome, in my opinion, because of that problem with very overwritten visual novels.
Right. So, would you say, Nav, that you would give a gameplay a star or no?
Well, considering its primary gameplay is visual novel, yes.
Okay.
It's, in my opinion, one of the best visual novels I've played.
As a visual novel, I could see what you're saying. I will give it... I don't like the platforming. But that's my own opinion. It's just...
I think if you had been able to play it with a controller...
it might have been easier.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give a star. Just because I don't like the platforming, but that's my own opinion. Because they could have easily just made it so that you had to go up the stairs instead of actually having to jump onto the roof to get something.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I think they could have made it almost like a point and click.
Yeah.
With like preset places that you stand and you would just like move to them, you know, jump to them, like you know, if you were using a jump to movement system in a VR game, or like playing Myst back in the day, something like that. It would have been much easier, and I think they could also have potentially had a lot more story in there, because of course development time on making a platform game city, basically.
Be as it may, in the platforming, I thought that I thought it was a little bit too much. I thought there was way too much platforming. And some of the spaces that they did just didn't make sense. Why would anybody go up there in the first place?
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen more of them found in apartments and things like that, and instead of finding them on top of roofs or on balconies that you can't get to without platforming, things like that. It just no, I'm not going to give it a star because of that. So otherwise, I would give it a star if it was because it was just the visual novel itself. If it wasn't for all the platforming, I'd give it a star. Anyway, what did you think, Bullhead?
I'm kind of torn, just because I liked it for what I played, but I just didn't get to experience it enough as of yet, right? So it's like I want to give it a star because I liked it, but I also at the same time, it's like I also kind of don't, because I didn't fully kind of experience it, if you know what I mean. But I think I will give it a star, just because platforming doesn't bother me really. I like the aspect that I got to run around like an idiot, just looking everywhere, and it's a good. I think that's a good time to me. So I liked it, and I think I would continue liking it when they add other things in as I get further in.
Right. Okay. So, and that is what we have for gameplay. Next up is Ingenuity, I think. Yes, Ingenuity. For Ingenuity, I would say this was a very, very good model for a detective novel. I think the way they set it up, it almost seems like it's Lovecraft. But it's pretty cool. I thought it was actually good change of pace of what we've been playing recently. It's a detective novel. It was fun to play. I really wanted to get to every single spot I could. Some parts I could not because of the platforming. Thankfully, that was mostly side stuff. Except I know that it was not for one spot that would have been much better for me to get to. It kind of made you think, oh, was it this person? Was it this person? How is this person involved? Is this a conspiracy? Things like that. And I really enjoyed it. I played it all the way through. I didn't get to the one spot that I needed to get to because it was platforming. But I got through to the end, and I did the judgment and all that. And I thought it was fine. I thought it was fun. So that's my opinion. How about your opinion, Bullhead?
No, I kind of felt the same way. It was a nice, well, I would say it was a lovely change of pace. And then the way they presented the characters and what you had to do, it was a nice branch off the path we were going down. and I hope we do play more games like this that kind of give you a little kick in the butt. Something like pretty fun and enjoyable to play.
Yeah, I thought this was very enjoyable. So let's see if we can get some of mine. There we go. I went a little bit further in to the storyline. You had to find these ghosts, and then you had to help them out.
Yeah, they were doing like a ritual, and then they wanted you to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met the dog too. I gave the dog a treat.
Yeah, that was cute.
Oh, little bear chan.
Little buddy bear.
All right. So, Nav, what did you think of the ingenuity?
Well, as I said earlier, I'm really not a fan of overwritten VNs. I'm also not particularly a fan of the like cutaway scene thing that a lot of them do. Where they'll just have this little vignette with like pre-made assets half the time. I enjoyed the fact that it was focused on the murder case, and essentially the main character definitely has that kind of laser focus on she's there to do a job and she's going to do it regardless, and you know all the characters supported that. Even the Grand Marshal, who constantly calls you very offensive things in Romanian, I mean, she was amusing just for how easy it is to distrust her throughout the entire thing. But then you're never really forced into a specific order with things either, and that's another thing that I've noticed in a few VNs, that if you try to upset the established order, you know, the game is very unhappy with you. Meanwhile, Paradise Killer feels like a game which is totally fine with you going off and collecting every single thing in the game world, with the exception of a couple story lock things, and then going and actually investigating the crime. And,
yes, that was actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, and also the usage. We haven't actually talked about it at all. Starlight, the computer you have, the little Syndicate laptop.
Right.
As far as I'm aware, I don't know of any other games of this like variety which actually have a system like that, like a full-on PDA that just tracks everything for you. I mean, like I had initially said about keeping a pen and paper handy would be an idea, and then turned out you actually didn't. Just once you have information that's relevant, it's then recorded within Starlight so that you can refer back to it when questioning people.
That was amazing. I really did like that. Because I would forget what I had said, what I heard about, and I could go back and look.
Because I had that issue with, there's the detail about Layla's perfume, which is brought up in like the very first time you talk to her. But it's not added to Starlight as like just a piece of information regarding her until you find a certain object later on, which is behind probably one of the more interesting puzzles in the game. But
I also found Shinji very interesting, because he would say stuff that points you to a certain direction.
Shinji is almost like a second character. He's almost like meant to be almost like your wingman, I think. You know, your partner in the investigation, because the amount of times that he will say something, like at one point, I forget the exact thing that he says, but it's essentially like there's, you know how you always get that scene where, like in a TV show or something, like Hot Fuzz has it, where a character asks them if they've caught those killers, and the fact that she states killers is what puts the main character onto the idea that there might be more than one person involved, and Shinji feels like a character based around that. But then to also give you bits and pieces of information about the world that you otherwise wouldn't get.
True. It does help you with that. Where was this? Oh, this was I thought the statues were very interesting to look at.
Oh yeah, it's actually an interesting thing that you brought up Lovecraft with that, because I am a huge Lovecraft nerd. I love the whole mythology, the mythos. And yeah, there's definitely some very heavy Lovecraft inspiration.
Yes.
I mean, like literally when they talk about the gods as being, entities from other realms that may not necessarily be other planes of existence, but like from elsewhere in the cosmos, and they just like hurtle across the infinite void on boulders. Like there's actually one of the characters is specified as having landed on Earth on a meteor. So
Right.
essentially, on their home world, they're just an average, everyday, member of their race. But on our world, they are as a god. Literally a god from the heavens.
I would agree. So I would say on this case, your ingenuity, I would definitely give it a star. Most definitely give it a star. How about you, Bullhead?
Oh, definitely. You get 1 star from me.
Okay. And how about you, Nav?
Well, it never managed to bore me, so it definitely gets mine.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing it didn't bore you.
Hmm.
Alright. Now, far as the next bit, our next part is the overall score. Or would you play this again? And if you would, why? We will start with Bullhead.
Well, it's not like I'm going to play it again. I'm going to continue playing it. I didn't really get far, and I'd like to get more into it. Because sadly, a lot of I can't contribute as much as you guys to this, but I kind of wish I could. But like overall, I enjoyed it, and I'm gonna get more back. I'm gonna get back into it more. That's what I wanted to say.
So, would you give it a star for the overall play?
1 more star for me, please.
All right. And Bullhead, thank you for being part of this. Nav, what would you say?
That one is a little iffy. I mean, I'm going to say yes, but it's kind of that thing like your first experience of it is always slightly going to taint further playthroughs.
Yeah.
Unless you play through it again with a save intentionally to change the order you go through things on the trial at the end. Although I may decide to randomly, play it speedrunning type thing with it in the future. If they ever make a sequel, I would be all over that.
Okay.
It's the actual one downside that I have for the game, being that each person's involvement and evidence that you discover, plot relevant or not, seems to be set in stone.
Yeah, yeah,
which
definitely.
does somewhat limit the replayability. But I mean, you could definitely go back in and, you know, decide, oh, this time I'm going to find all of the items, or this other time I'm going to try it with only asking about stuff directly. I'm not going to speculate or whatever. You could do your own little challenge runs. It would support that.
It would support that, but I agree that it's kind of once you read a novel, you know what the novel is.
Yes,
So
that is the one downside that, unfortunately, I do have to lampshade.
you have to what?
It's a literary term. You stick a lampshade on it, like you point it out.
Yeah. All right. So, star or no?
I would say yes, but with a massive asterisk.
All right. We'll give you your star. I'm not gonna give a star. Um, just because no, I would not play it again. It's kind of the only reason why I would play it again is to find that one spot I never found that you did. That's the only reason.
Yeah, because you never even saw that section.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
only thing.
I streamed that
Otherwise,
before you came in, which was a shame.
otherwise I would think that I'm done. I love the story. The story kind of was probably, telling me exactly what I needed to know. I got mostly, I think, what you got, except for that part.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to give it a star. Just because it's not replayability. It doesn't have the replayability. Now, if there was another sequel, I would agree. I would definitely want to play it at least once. At least once. So, that's how I feel about that. Okay, so at this point we have 13 out of 15 stars. And that sounds pretty good. That's par for course. Would you say that this was a stud or a dud? Nav.
Huh?
Well, I would put it firmly in the stud stable.
Stud stable. How about you, Bullhead?
Yeah, right. It's a good stud. I don't
It's
think it's dud worthy.
it's a stud. It's a stud. It actually was
Yeah.
not that bad.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the fact that most of the platforming was side quests and not the actual main quests, except for one spot that I couldn't get to. So, um, and we're doing our best not to spoil that part for you. Anyway,
Well, I mean, in terms of what you're saying about not being able to get to it, it's like literally find an item in a specific place, then you jump a fence and walk over to a spot on the ground.
yeah, but gotta
And
find.
it was literally just because you hadn't jumped the fence and walked around, which is the downside of the game having somewhat focus on the platforming aspect,
Yeah,
and for you not really wanting to engage in that, which it's the only true misstep I think they actually have in the design of the game.
well,
Although I
it's
do like
it's
that the critical path has ladders and no real jumping required.
yeah, I do like that. I do like the fact that there is the ladders for the main part. For a person who has problems with arthritis, this is not the game for you if you're going to do the jumping part. Going up the ladders is perfectly fine. You will most likely get most of the story. Most of it. So, I think that's good for us. let's go ahead and say what's going on for next week, and that is we're going to be playing Astroneer. Now, Nav, you're taking the week off, and Nails will be back with us and doing
I'll still
the game.
play it with you guys.
Cool.
Because I do enjoy Astroneer. I have it.
Um,
Spoiler alert, it's totally good.
Well, we'll be playing it on Friday on my
Oh, it's
stream.
ruined. Oh,
We will be playing it on Friday on my stream, starting at 10 a.m. And if it is multiplayer, I will be having
Which
you
it is.
join me. You can join me, and you can play it even
Yay.
if you are not part of the actual review. So, that sounds good? Thank you all for being here. This is Karsa, KKWX. Karsa is my name, and KKWX is my empire, with Navarone and Bullhead. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Until next time, goodbye!